Hello and welcome to our Turnkey Trader trade tutorial series. In this lesson, we're going to review several different money management strategies we can use to manage our trailing stop for our runner contract. So depending on which method you prefer, you can go ahead and set up your ATM in the DOM with a few different options. First, I'm going to set my order quantity to 3. This will be the number of contracts we're going to trade. And then I want to select Custom from the ATM Strategy drop-down menu. This will let me program my ATM according to my money management strategy. Next, I want to select a 2-target strategy, as we will have our first target be our initial profit target, and the second target will be our runner. So I'm going to change my quantity to 2 for the first target. I'm going to set the stop loss to 43 and my profit target to 6. I'm also going to set an auto break even and a little bit more of a trailing stop in here, as we want to trail by the DPI price until our profit target is hit. So I will set my profit trigger in the auto break even section to 6. I will set my stop loss to 43, frequency 1, and profit trigger 1. Since it takes 1 tick in the direction of the trend to plot a bar, every bar that plots, we want to trail that new price by 43 ticks, which will be the new DPI that's displayed. So we want to trail by the DPI up until we hit our profit target. Once we have this set, we can come to Manage Stop Strategy Templates, and I will call this one DPI. We'll click OK, and I'll just select that from the drop down here. All right. So now we have our first target set up, our initial profit target of 2 contracts with an initial 43 tick stop loss, which will be the opposite DPI from the DPI that I entered. So looking at our example here, if I entered going short at 5821.5, 43 ticks would be this opposite DPI price. And then each new bar that plots, we will move our stop up to the new DPI until we hit profit target of 6 ticks, which will then adjust our stop to break even. And even though this is our initial profit target, we'll still add the break even adjustment as a matter of protection in the event that our profit target does not get filled and the market reverses on us. Much better to take a scratch than a loss on what would otherwise be a winning trade. Now for our runner contract, this will be a quantity of 1. Again, a stop loss of 43. And this time we're going to leave this profit target set to 0. Now, as a useful beginner money management strategy, we can set our runner to trigger at 20 ticks. This is a really good middle of the road without trailing, and we just sell our third contract at 20 ticks, which is a very easy method when first starting out, and you can always change it to a trailing stop later. But for now, we'll leave this set to 0, and then we'll set our trailing stop. So we're still going to put our profit trigger to 6, as we definitely want this to adjust to break even. And we're going to set our same trailing stop, so we trail at the DPI until we adjust to our break-even price. And now I have a few options of where I would like to trail the runner at. So we can trail at the white line or the orange line are both acceptable options. We do have to wait a bit longer to begin trailing at the orange line, as we do have to wait for that price to get better than our break-even stop. So we will begin trailing at the white line sooner, but you do have a bit of a higher chance of getting stopped out sooner as well. So first we'll take a look at our white line. Now this is roughly 18 to 19 ticks from the close of any of these bars on average, and should certainly be that distance when we're in a trend or bounce trade. So I want to set my stop loss to trail by 19 ticks. I want to set the frequency to 1. And my profit trigger to 20. What this will do is each new bar that plots, and this will only trigger once the market has moved 20 ticks from our entry price, which our stop would be at break even, we will begin trailing the current price by 19 ticks, and then adjust to trail a new price by 19 ticks every tick thereafter. So after the market moves 20 ticks and we begin trailing at 19, every new bar that plots will cause our stop to move up by 1 as well, which should trail right at approximately the white signal line. Now, optionally, we can trail at the orange line, which will follow the same principle. It is just slightly farther away. The orange line is roughly 24 to 25 ticks away. It may fluctuate a bit around there, but on average, it's about 24 ticks from the close of any of our bars. So we're just going to adjust these numbers a bit. We'll set this to trail by 24. We'll leave our frequency the same because we want it to adjust at the same rate. And we'll change our profit trigger to 25. So much in the same way as trailing at the white line. Instead, we'll wait for our orange line to get better than our break even, which will be roughly 25 ticks. And then we'll begin trailing the current market price by 24 ticks and adjust up after every new bar plots. Both are very effective trailing stop methods you can use. I do suggest to try each of them out and see which one you like better. Do feel free to adjust these a little bit if you like. Maybe you want this one to trail by 25 instead of 24. You'll simply adjust our profit trigger and stop loss numbers up by 1. But I don't want to suggest going too far out of that range, as it is on average within 24 to 25 ticks of the close of any of those bars. Once we decide on a trailing stop, we can right click on our stop strategy window, select manage stop strategy templates, and we can just call this TKT runner. And of course, feel free to name it anything that you like. I'll select that from my drop down, make sure I have the correct one selected. Then I'll right click on the dome itself, select manage ATM strategy templates, and we will call this one Turnkey Orange Line Trail. Click save. And the next time I open my dome, this will appear in my drop-down menu. Thank you for joining us for this Turnkey Trader tutorial. We do hope you'll find these trailing stop management options helpful, and do encourage you to experiment and find one that works well for you.